as being an entrepreneur back and forth and I'd use that volume to do those things. Then as I listened to what their business plan, I'd look for opportunities to go in and be a solution, to be a provider to those guys. And the fact that these guys knew me, they trusted me, they believed I could deliver, they would put, because at the end of the day, if you go out and aggregate a bunch of material, you put your career on the line with that guy's coming to sell you something. So you've got to have strong relationships, you've got to have trust, and you got to deliver on what you say you're going to do. You do that once, that thing just compiles itself. You do it again and again, you develop a reputation. And today, I've got a pretty good reputation within the aero engine and the metals industry for developing, delivering, and it's far more than I deserve. But the fact is that you deliver and do what you say you're going to. And sometimes you can't deliver, you can't make it happen. But if you pick up the phone and say, you know what, I can't do it, but I think I can do it here, or I can't make that deadline, and being proactive and prompt and energetic, you're going to get a lot done. So relationships that you build today, you don't know if it's right here amongst this class, you're probably going to reach out sometime in your career to somebody here because you've outdone something that's going to help you. For me, working at GE gave me the ability to visualize how a big company works, right? And a big company works in silos, and everybody's got a big tier structure to want to get promoted, different things like that. And I knew that at the time, there's a guy named Jack Welch. If Jack Welch said something, everybody at GE is going to fall in line with Jack Welch and get it done. So I'd listen to his vision for the next year. What's it called? The
mission statement.
His mission statement, or his metrics that he wanted to hit for the year, and he'd drive that through the business. And I'd walk in GE and say, hey, I want to help you reduce your inventory. I want to help you aggregate your purchase price because you want lower price. And I'd develop solutions to do that. Then I'd put a proposal in front of these guys because they wouldn't know how to do it, right? But you put something in front of them, they can edit it, right? It's kind of like the flavor. Sometimes you don't know really what you want, but you know what you don't want, right? And I'd put those things in front of them, then we'd deliver on it, right? The next thing you know, those guys would get promoted or get something out of that, then it would take a life of its own. So that way, it's just those simple little things. Working in OEM, knowing how they thought, a major company, building relationships there on people I could call on after I started my career, because I had to go get quality approvals, I had to get in their system. People had to want to help me to do that. And that's the next thing, is not being afraid to ask for help. People want to help people. At the end of the day, they really do. If you come to me and say, hey, I'm starting a business, I want to help, I guarantee if you're showing interest and earnest and energy, I want to help you, right? It's just human nature, and not being afraid to ask, right? Next thing that I contributed, like I said, I was never afraid of failure. Still am, right? Grew up on a farm, didn't have much growing up. I think 85% of my high school was welfare, So, but I was happy as a kid as could ever be, right? Really didn't have it. So for me, either making money or not making money was never a big issue, right? And not being afraid to fail, right, was really, really important. And I probably never worked a day for money in my life. And I think when people start working for money and you're trying to do that right away, you make decisions around money. I've always made decisions around value, around making something last long. How do I create value for my customers? How do I have a great environment for my folks? I've always shared success, but if you start from day one, it's all about making money. You're going to pull money out of that business. You're going to make decisions, right? But at the same time, when you're building a business, you got to pay for yourself, because you got to pay yourself, because as you're building it, there's always going to be capital that needs to go back into business. But it's really important that you pay yourself along the way. And I've seen so many people, not pay themselves, and they struggle. There's always going to be something in there. But I'll tell you what, if you start out at paying yourself $60 grand a year, you're going to find a way to get there, right? Every business I started, I'd go down a path. right? I say, here's my vision, here's where I'm going, but the market's always taken me somewhere different, right? So listening to your market, listening to your customer, and allowing that to shape your business. I see so many businesses and so many people try to attempt to fail because they think they got the greatest idea in the world, and they're so focused on being right that they fail. But the market's going to tell you where to go. And sometimes it might not even be intuitive, right? On what you're doing. For example, if we Supply Dynamics, their model was to aggregate all the spend for GE, and they really thought if they aggregated all the spend, they would drive cost savings and they could share in that cost savings. Well, in the steel business, pricing goes up and down all day long because it's commodity market based. And intuitively, capacity, you're selling capacity, right? And sometimes as the mills fill up or you got more volume, you're filling that mill up, they don't want your business, right? Because they want to sell capacity, and as it gets a certain level, they'll sell capacity at this price, the next level, they'll sell at a higher price, the next level a higher price. So you would think, but your natural recollection, I'm going to give you more business, you're going to be happy, you're going to give me a lower price. Well, that's not true. What happened though was this Supply Dynamics business brought visibility into the supply chain. It gave visibility to the OEMs, to Caterpillar, Boeing, GE, Honeywell, that they never had before. They had lost that, and with that visibility, they could go after engineering design changes, they could do hedging of raw material elements, they could do aggregation, they could do a lot of different things. They could manage the flow and scheduling of their system.
And when you say visibility, what exactly are you? Can you give an example?
Sure.
Clarify that concept.
To make this bottle of water, right? You got a plastic bottle, you got this little tape, and you got here, okay? But if GE buys this from how do you say that word? Appalachian, Aquafina, right? They buy this as a bottle, right? Mm-hmm. And they buy all kinds of different bottles from different companies. And the fact is, when they buy the bottle, they lose visibility of all that goes into that. But the price of that bottle, the price of that, and the price of that really shapes what they spend, right? And when they do this over thousands of components, right, there's opportunity there. But when they outsource it to hundreds of people, right, they lose visibility in all those little things. And what we did was provide visibility to them by capturing that and connecting that to their system, even though they weren't buying it.
So you would buy it. Okay, I got it.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
And it was just a supply chain like a consulting company. That's the visibility of stuff that they couldn't naturally see. Then they could go out and leverage that spin, or they could go out and look at how they're buying in the steel industry. When we put the visibility to it, they found out they were buying their steel in 110 different gauges. And if they consolidated those into 8 gauges, they could get real volume in a lot of different ways, and flexibility and cost and those type of things. So those are the type of value things that we brought through the table through more visibility and those type of things.